Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, welcome to lecture number 11 of Business Economics ECO 400. जैसा कि आपको मालूम है कि हम सबसे पहले पिछले लेक्चर को रिवाइज करते हैं चंद मिनट्स के लिए और उसके बाद आज का लेक्चर शुरू करेंगे. So as we know that we started to discuss different market structures where the firms can sell their products and then they have to decide about the price and the quantity of the output produced and supplied in the market. So we have discussed two market structures. One was the perfect competition and the other was monopoly. So what is monopoly? Basically what we learned about monopoly: monopoly is a firm that is the sole seller of the product in the market, and they face downward sloping demand curve that shows the inverse relationship between price and demand of the product. A monopoly marginal revenue is always below than the price of the product. So like a competitive firm, a monopoly maximizes profit by producing the quantity at which marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. So as we have said that in case of perfect competition, the profit of the firm is maximum at the point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Similarly, in case of monopoly, monopolistic firm can also maximize the profit at the point where MR is equal to MC, or you can say जहाँ पे marginal cost marginal revenue के बराबर हो. So but unlike a competitive firm, price exceeds its marginal revenue, so the price exceeds marginal cost in case of monopoly, right? So as we know that in case of perfect competition, price is equal to average revenue is equal to marginal revenue, it is equal to marginal cost also. But in case of monopoly, price exceeds than marginal cost, price is greater than marginal cost. So a monopolistic profit maximizing level of output is below the level that maximizes the sum of consumer and producer surplus. So monopolistic firm always produce less than the efficient level of output, and because of this there is deadweight loss to the society, because firm is producing less than its optimum level and charging higher price as compared to perfect competition. So consumers face, or society face, problem in terms of welfare loss in case of monopoly. Monopoly causes, as we said, deadweight loss to the society, similar to taxes. In case of taxes, the revenues go to the government, but in case of a monopoly, charging higher price than marginal cost, and the benefit goes to the firms. Policymaker can respond to the inefficiency of monopoly behavior with antitrust law, as we discussed, by regulating prices or by turning the monopoly into a public enterprise, or sometimes they just if market failure is not is small and it's not very important, so then government or policymaker may decide to do nothing at all, and monopolists can raise their profit by charging एक जो और चीज़ हमने डिस्कस की इसमें, so that was the price discrimination, and monopolist can raise the price of the product by charging different prices of the same product from different customers. It could be possible within the country, or price discrimination is also possible between the countries also. So price discrimination can raise economic welfare and lessen deadweight loss to the society. So this was the brief overview of the previous lecture. तो इसके बाद आज का लेक्चर शुरू करते हैं, एंड जिसमें हम कोशिश करेंगे डिस्कस करने की द थर्ड टाइप ऑफ मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर विच इज़ मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन. तो अभी तक हमने दो मोनोपोलिस्ट मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर डिस्कस किए हैं. नंबर वन, एज आई टोल्ड यू, इट वाज अबाउट द perfect competition, then monopoly, and then the third one is monopolistic competition. The sequence of our lecture would be like this. First of all, I would like to tell you what is monopolistic competition, and then of course we'll discuss competition with differentiated products, and finally see the role of advertising and brand in case of monopolistic competitive firms, and how the advertising and brand can play a role in and affect the revenue of the firms. Imperfect competition refers to the situation as monopolistic competition को हम imperfect competition का नाम भी देते हैं. तो अभी आज के लेक्चर में कहीं पे आपको imperfect competition का लफ्ज़ भी नज़र आएगा, सुनने को मिलेगा. तो that is the same as we talk about the monopolistic competition. So imperfect competition refers to those market structures that fall between perfect competition and monopoly, right? So we can explain the 4 types of market structure in the chart given below, chart given on the slide. अगर आप इस slide को देखें, just look at the slide, just look at the chart. On the top we have number of firms, so we can differentiate among the market structure by the number of firms. And the second thing is that we can also differentiate the market structure on the basis of type of product which they produce. So there are 2 factors which can differentiate between different types of market structure. एक तो है कि आप number of firms की base पे इन market structure को एक दूसरे से differentiate कर सकते हैं, and the second one factor is the types of product. तो जब हम number of firms की बात करते हैं, so if we talk about monopoly, we have only one firm. So there is only one firm, single seller of the product producing in the market and producing the product and supplying the product in the market. Like for example, tap water, cable TV. So these sort of firms are known as the monopolistic firm. And when we talk about oligopoly, oligopoly is a market structure within monopolistic competition, right? So in that case, there are only few firms. When we use the word few firms, so in that case, that sort of market structure is known as oligopoly. So normally oligopoly has less than 10 firms. The industry which has less than 10 firms is known as the oligopoly market structures, right? For example, if we talk tennis ball, crude oil, so these are the example of oligopoly market structures. Now we'll come to the other 2 market structure, which is the monopolistic competition and the perfect competition. So here we can bring the second factor also into consideration while differentiating between these 2 products, and that factor is the type of product, and of course we have to look at the number of firms also. So if we see that, so in case of both market structure, there are many firms. In case of perfect competition, there are many firms which are producing and supplying the product in the market. And similarly, in case of monopolistic competition, there are also many firms in the industry. Now, how we can differentiate between these 2 market structures? That is on the basis of type of the product. In case of perfect competition, the product is similar, product is homogeneous. But in case of monopolistic competition, the product is heterogeneous. There is slight difference in the product, right? Quality of the product, right? Product are not homogeneous, right? So on the basis of the product, we can differentiate between perfect competition and monopolistic competition. तो हमने इस चार्ट में क्या देखा? हमने ये देखा कि हमने 4 डिफरेंट मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर्स को डिफरेंशिएट किया एक दूसरे से, और हमने ये कहा मोनोपोली एक ऐसा मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर है जहाँ पे हम कहते हैं कि when there is a single seller of the product. Like उसके बाद हमने oligopoly की बात की कि when we talk about that there are few firms in the industry, so that sort of market structure is known as the oligopoly market structure. And then we have talked, normally there are 10 or less than 10 firms, तो उसको हम oligopoly का नाम देते हैं. Within oligopoly, there is another market structure. Just to simplify the situation or to explain the analysis, and we take the example of duopoly. In case of duopoly, there are only 2 firms in the industry. And उसके बाद हमने बात की monopolistic competition की और परफेक्ट कंपटीशन की, तो इनको कैसे डिफ्रेंशिएट कर सकते हैं? इन केस ऑफ बोथ ऑफ दीज मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर्स there are large number of firms or many firms in the industry, we can use the word large number of firms in case of perfect competition and many firms in case of monopolistic competition. And also there is a difference in the product. In case of perfect competition, the product is homogeneous, the product produced by all firms in the industry is homogeneous, is the same. But in case of monopolistic competition, the firms are producing product which is heterogeneous. So this is on the basis of these characteristics we can differentiate among different market structures. So what we are going to discuss today, we are going to talk about the monopolistic competition, and that is the firm that fall between monopoly and perfect competition. Now, types of imperfectly competitive markets. So there are two types of imperfectly competitive markets. One is the monopolistic competition, the other is oligopoly. What is monopolistic competition? When there are many sellers of the product, but the product is all similar but not identical. So in that case, that market structure is known as the monopolistic competition. So क्या कहा हमने? When there are many sellers of the product in the market, products are similar but not identical, so that is the monopolistic competition. And what is oligopoly? When there are only few firms which are providing the product in the market and products are similar or identical products to the others. So in that case, that sort of market structure is known as the oligopoly. So market that have some features of competition and some features of monopoly are known as the monopolistic competition and oligopoly. तो ऐसी market जहाँ पे there should be some competition among the firms और उनमें कुछ ऐसी features भी हों कि they can act or play a role of monopoly, like they have some market power, तो हम उसको कहेंगे कि वो those are the types of imperfect competitive markets. Now आज जो हम डिस्कस करें, we'll go discuss oligopoly in the next lecture, but today's our the topic for discussion, the lecture about is monopolistic competition. Now what are the attributes, what are the characteristics? As we have already discussed that before starting any market structure, we discuss the attributes or characteristics of each market structures. So accordingly, on similar pattern, first of all, before going into detail, we would like to see the attributes or the characteristics of the monopolistic competition. Now, what are the characteristics of monopolistic competition? There are, number one, there are many sellers of the product. There are many firms competing for the same group of customers. So product examples include like books, CDs, movies, etc. So in this case, there are many firms which are competing among each other, and the products is similar but not identical. Now product differentiation, each firm produces a product that is least slightly different from those of other firms. Rather than being a price taker, each firm faces a downward sloping demand curve, and we can say that in case like monopoly, in case of monopolistic competition, when they face downward sloping demand curve, they have some market power, right? So they have market power, they can decide the quantity of the product and they can decide the price of the product. Now this was the second attribute of the monopolistic competition. Third characteristic क्या है? Free entry and exit. अगर आप देखें, firms can enter or exit the market without restriction, no restriction on entry and exit of the firms from the industry. So the number of firms in the market adjust until economic profit are zero or the firms start earning normal profit. So हमने तीन खूबियाँ, तीन characteristics बयान की monopolistic competition की. नंबर वन हमने कहा कि ये एक ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर है, ऐसी मार्केट है जहाँ पे there are many sellers, बहुत सारे sellers होते हैं which are competing for the same group of customers. तो जिसमें प्रोडक्ट के एग्जांपल की हमने बात की, we said that examples include books, CDs, movies, etc. दूसरी हमने बात की प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन. तो प्रोडक्ट इज़ नॉट similar, as product is different. They are producing different products and they face downward sloping demand curve. और हर एक फर्म को they have some market power to decide the price of the product. The third, the तीसरी जो हमने characteristic discuss की monopolistic competition की, that was about free entry and exit. Firms can enter any time in the industry, they can leave any time in the industry. There is no restriction on entry and exit. कोई पाबंदी नहीं है फर्म्स के अंदर आने पे, इंडस्ट्री में छोड़ने पे कोई पाबंदी नहीं है. So because of this property, this process continue until जितनी भी firms होती हैं, in the long run they start earning normal profit. So these are the features, these are the attributes on which you can differentiate this structure from the other market structures. Now I will see that as we already discussed in the previous lectures while discussing monopoly and perfect competition, and we have discussed the situation both in the short run and in the long run. तो यहाँ पे भी हम उसी तरह will like to see the behavior of the firms in the short run and how they maximize profit and when they bear loss in the short run. So we have to explain these monopolistic competitive firms, monopolistic competition in the short run as well as in the long run. So we have to discuss the competition with differentiated products. So first of all, the monopolistically competitive firms in the short run. So short run क्या है? Short run economic profit encourage new firms to enter the market. Now when the firms are earning profit in the short run, so short run economic profits encourage the new firms to enter in the market, right? So when the new firms enter in the market, so what will happen? So this will increase the number of products offered. So short run profit encourage new firms to enter in the industry, and this will lead to, number one, increase the number of products in the industry offered to the customers. Number two, reduces demand faced by the firms already in the market, right? The existing firms जो है market में, उनकी जो product है उसकी demand कम हो जाएगी because new firms are in the industry, so competition is there, so people or customer would like to change or increase the demand for the new products by new firms. Incumbents firms demand curve shift to the left, right? The new firms का जो demand है वो बढ़ जाएगा. So the right word, there is a shift in the demand curve of new firms. So demand for the incumbents firms or the new firms products falls and their profit declines. So profit will go down. We can explain the profit maximization condition in monopolistic competition with the help of diagram जो कि आपको सामने नज़र आ रहा है. इस diagram में अगर आप देखें, similarly like monopoly we have the demand curve which is downward sloping, but the difference between this demand curve and the monopoly demand curve is that this is comparatively flatter, and this is because of the number of firms in the industry. So in monopolistic competition there are many firms. In monopoly there is only one firm which is producing the product. So we can differentiate while drawing these curves. तो आप curves की base पे difference कर सकते हैं, उनको draw करने की base पे differentiate कर सकते हैं कि इनके साथ monopoly जो demand curve आप draw करेंगे that would be comparatively steeper, और यहाँ पे जो demand curve होगा that would be comparatively flatter. Similarly, marginal revenue curve is always below than the demand curve in case of monopoly as well as in case of monopolistic competition, but again it would be flatter as compared to the demand curve of the monopoly, right? तो हमें अब प्रॉफिट शो करना है फर्म का. एज वी नो दैट प्रॉफिट के लिए हमें एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट कर्व भी चाहिए होता है और माइनर कॉस्ट कर्व भी चाहिए होता है. सो अब आपने जब आप एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट कर्व ड्रा करें तो आपने देखें, ज़हन में सोचें कि आपने क्या चीज़ शो करनी है, बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू शो हेयर द प्रॉफिट। तो ये इसका जो मिनिमम पॉइंट है, जो एफिशिएंट पॉइंट है एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट कर्व, दैट शुड बी अबव देन दी मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू कर्व, ताकि आप प्रॉफिट शो कर सकें। उसके बाद मार्जिनल कॉस्ट, हमें पता है कि प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन कंडीशन क्या है। सो प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन कंडीशन इज where MR is equal to MC, right? So we need to draw the marginal cost curve. So MR is intersecting MC at point E, right? So this is the profit maximizing point. तो यहाँ से आप ऊपर जाते हैं to find the price of the product, और नीचे आते हैं to find the quantity sold or quantity produced in the market, right? Produced by the firm. So if we go up to the demand curve, so this intersect the demand curve at point A, right? So the total revenue of the firm will be like total revenue is equal to as we know that it is price into quantity, so price is OP, quantity is OQ, so that would be equal to OQAP is the total revenue of the firm. Now similarly, where for profit we need to find total cost, that total cost is equal to average cost into quantity produced. So here average cost is this one, and average cost curve को यहाँ पे intersect करा है at point like we call it M, here this we call this point N. So total cost will be equal to OQMN. अगर आप गौर से इस डायग्राम को देखें, जो ऊपर वाला जो प्रॉफिट टोटल रेवेन्यू का ब्लॉक है, दैट इज बिगर देन द टोटल कॉस्ट ब्लॉक। तो जो डिफरेंस है दोनों में, टोटल रेवेन्यू टोटल कॉस्ट में, सो दैट इज द प्रॉफिट ऑफ द फर्म। अगर उसको हमने यहाँ के डायग्राम में देखें तो आपको शेडेड कलर नजर आएगा। सो दैट इज द प्रॉफिट ऑफ द फर्म, एंड वी कैन राइट दैट प्रॉफिट इज इक्वल टू MNAP इज द प्रॉफिट ऑफ द फर्म। नौ, जैसा कि हमने पिछली स्लाइड में डिस्कस किया कि जब प्रॉफिट फर्म्स अर्न करती हैं इन द शॉर्ट रन अंडर मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, तो क्या होता है, नई फर्म्स को इंसेंटिव मिलता है, वो एंटर हो जाती हैं। जब वो एंटर होती हैं तो क्वांटिटी सप्लाई बढ़ जाती है, डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स मार्केट में आ जाती हैं, और जो एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स की डिमांड है वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाती है, और प्रॉफिट मार्जिन भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है। एंड दिस प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू टिल द टाइम all firm start earning normal profit, and that would happen in the long run. So this is how we can explain the profit of the firm under short run. इसके बाद हम शो करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि अगर शॉर्ट रन में कुछ फर्म्स को जो अब नुकसान हो रहा था अंडर मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, तो व्हाट इज द सिचुएशन इन दैट केस। नाउ शॉर्ट रन इकोनॉमिक लॉसेस इनकरेज फर्म टू एग्जिट फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री। सो फर्म स्टार्ट एग्जिटिंग फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री, और दे लीव द इंडस्ट्री, और व्हाट विल हैपन, डिक्रीज द नंबर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स, एंड नंबर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स कम हो जाती हैं, इंक्रीज डिमांड फेस्ड बाय द रिमेनिंग फर्म्स, जो एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स होती हैं उनकी डिमांड चीज़ों की बढ़ जाती है। सो दैट शिफ्ट्स द रिमेनिंग फर्म डिमांड कर्व टू द राइट एंड इंक्रीज द रिमेनिंग फर्म्स प्रॉफिट। तो इन केस ऑफ लॉस अंडर द शॉर्ट रन अंडर मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, तो क्या होगा, सिंस हमने देखा कि वन ऑफ द एट्रीब्यूट्स ऑफ मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन इज दैट देयर इज फ्री एंट्री एंड एग्जिट इन द मार्केट। तो जब नई फर्म्स एंटर करती हैं या पुरानी फर्म छोड़ जाती हैं इंडस्ट्री को, देयर इज नो रिस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन दैट। तो इन केस ऑफ लॉस, some of the firms will exit from the industry, so the demand for the existing firms will increase, existing firm product will increase, उनकी डिमांड का राइटवर्ड पे शिफ्ट हो जाएगा और उनका प्रॉफिट बढ़ना शुरू हो जाएगा, एंड दे विल स्टार्ट अर्निंग नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट। तो नुकसान की जो सूरत हाल है, जब फर्म्स को नुकसान हो रहा होता है, लॉस हो रहा था, तो कैसे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं अंडर दिस मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर। तो इसको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे इस डायग्राम के ज़रिए। अगर आप इस डायग्राम में देखें तो द सिमिलर वे वी नीड टू ड्रॉ द डिमांड कर्व विच इज़ डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग, वी हैव ए मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू कर्व एंड वी हैव एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व। लेकिन आप देखें एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व नाउ मस्ट बी अबव देन द डिमांड कर्व आल्सो, राइट। अगर डिमांड कर्व से ऊपर होगा तो फिर आप उसको लॉस को शो कर सकते हैं। पिछले सूरत हाल में देखा हमने प्रॉफिट की सूरत में, तो दैट वाज बिलो देन द रेवेन्यू कर्व, दैट वाज बिलो देन द डिमांड कर्व, राइट। तो फिर हमने प्रॉफिट को शो किया। बट इन केस ऑफ लॉस, ये जो एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट कर्व है, इसका जो मिनिमम पॉइंट है दैट शुड बी अबव देन द revenue curve or the demand curve. As we know that profit maximization rule is profit is the maximum at the point where MR is equal to MC. So we need to draw the MC curve, and please keep in mind जब आप marginal cost curve draw कर रहे हो तो that should pass through the minimum point of average cost curve, right? That is the condition. So अगर आप देखें now MR is intersecting MC at point E. So this is the equilibrium point, right? The firm is at equilibrium or maximizing its profit at point E. Now in order to find the price of the product and the cost of the firm, we need to draw the line up to the demand and cost curve and then to the x-axis to find the quantity produced and supplied in the market. अब जब इस पॉइंट से ऊपर जाते हैं तो ऊपर जाते हुए this intersect the demand line at A and intersect the cost curve at point C, right? So हमने loss मालूम करने के लिए as we know that profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. So when total revenue is less than total cost, that is the profit loss. This is the loss of the firm, right? So इस loss को हम कैसे show कर सकते हैं? So as we know that we need to find total revenue. Total revenue is equal to price into quantity. So this is the price. OP is the price and quantity is OQ. So if we multiply this, we get OQAP. ये जो rectangle है, this is the OQAP rectangle is the total revenue of the firm, right? Now what is total cost? Total cost is the average cost into quantity. Now what is the average cost here? This is C, इसको कोई नाम दे देते हैं, suppose T. Now average cost is OT multiplied by quantity. ये जो बड़ी rectangle है OQCT, OQCT is the total cost of the firm. अगर आप गौर से देखें इस डायग्राम में, ये जो रेक्टेंगल टोटल कॉस्ट की है दैट इज बिगर देन द रेक्टेंगल ऑफ टोटल रेवेन्यू. तो वो जो एरिया है ज़्यादा है एज कम्पेयर टोटल रेवेन्यू. तो ये जो डिफरेंस है, जितनी कास्ट ज़्यादा है टोटल रेवेन्यू से, दैट इज़ द लॉसेस ऑफ द फर्म. सो जो कि रेड कलर में आपको नज़र आ रहा है. अगर रेड बॉक्स देखें तो ये जो है, ये बॉक्स शो कर रहा है कि दिस मच इज़ द लॉस ऑफ द फर्म इन द शॉर्ट रन. एंड लॉस is equal to, it can be written as APCT is the loss of the firms. तो हमने क्या देखा कि हमने कोशिश की एक्सप्लेन करने की. शॉर्ट रन में हमने दो सूरत हाल को एक्सप्लेन किया. पहली सूरत हाल को पिछले डायग्राम और पिछली स्लाइड में हमने देखा कि जब शॉर्ट रन में अंडर मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन कुछ फर्म प्रॉफिट कमा रही होती हैं तो क्या सूरत हाल होता है. नई फर्म्स के लिए इंसेंटिव होता है और सिंस देयर इज़ नो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन एंट्री एंड एग्जिट ऑफ द फर्म, तो नई फर्म इंडस्ट्री में आ जाती हैं. जब नई फर्म्स आती हैं, जो डिमांड है ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड अमंग द एग्जिस्टिंग एंड न्यू फर्म्स, तो डिमांड कम हो जाती है एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स की. जब उनकी डिमांड कम होती है तो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कम होना शुरू हो जाता है. तो दिस प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू टिल इन द लॉन्ग रन प्रॉफिट बिकम्स नॉर्मल. तो हमने एक्सप्लेन किया उस सूरत हाल को कि हाउ द फर्म्स कैन अर्न प्रॉफिट इन द शॉर्ट रन एंड व्हाट विल हैपन व्हेन दे आर अर्निंग प्रॉफिट. तो इस स्लाइड में हमने कोशिश की कि अंडर शॉर्ट रन हाउ द फर्म कैन बेयर लॉस एंड हाउ वी कैन ड्रॉ दैट लॉस, शो दैट लॉस, and what will happen if the firms are bearing loss in the short run under monopolistic competition. तो हमने ये कहा कि जब नुकसान हो रहा होता है फर्म्स को तो नई फर्म्स कुछ फर्म जो है एग्जिट कर जाती हैं फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री. दे लीव द इंडस्ट्री. सो द एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स की जो प्रोडक्ट की डिमांड है वो बढ़ जाती है. जब उनकी डिमांड बढ़ती है तो उनका जो प्रॉफिट है वो बढ़ना शुरू हो जाता है और फर्म स्टार्ट अर्निंग नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट इन द लॉन्ग रन. So these two situations that we have explained that explain the situation of profit and loss of the firms in the short run. Now इसके बाद जैसा कि हमने कहा कि शॉर्ट रन में कुछ फर्म्स प्रॉफिट कमाती हैं, sometime firms will earn profit and sometime they will earn loss. तो दोनों सूरत हाल में देखा कि जब प्रॉफिट होता है तो नई फर्म आ जाती हैं और प्रॉफिट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है एंड दिस प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू. दैट मेक्स the profit into a normal profit. Similarly, in case of loss, the some of the existing firm will leave the industry and the firm start earning normal profit. So long run की अब हम बात करेंगे. As we said that in the long run, when in the firms are earning profit in the short run and bearing loss in the short run, so long run में new firms will enter the industry and exit the industry in case of loss until the firms are making exactly zero economic profit, and इसको हम नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट का भी नाम देते हैं. और इस सूरत हाल में फर्म्स का टोटल रेवेन्यू टोटल कॉस्ट के बराबर होता है. जब टोटल रेवेन्यू टोटल कॉस्ट के बराबर होता है तो हम कहते हैं कि फर्म्स का जो इकोनॉमिक प्रॉफिट है वो ज़ीरो है. एंड दिस इज़ ओनली पॉसिबल इन द लॉन्ग रन, कि जब शॉर्ट रन में नुकसान होता है कुछ फर्म्स को या प्रॉफिट होता है तो इंसेंटिव होता है न्यू फर्म्स का एंटर होने का, और उनका नुकसान की सूरत हाल में दे कैन एग्जिट फ्राम द इंडस्ट्री. सो लॉन्ग रन की जो सूरत हाल है, जैसा कि हमने कहा कि अंडर मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन ऑल फर्म्स विल बी अर्निंग नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट इन द लॉन्ग रन. तो उसको हम डायग्राम के ज़रिए कैसे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. तो अगर आप सामने जो आपके डायग्राम आपको नज़र आया इसमें देखें, सिमिलरली एज इन प्रीवियस ग्राफ वी मेजर प्राइस, revenue and cost on y-axis, and on x-axis we measure the quantity. We have a demand curve faced by the monopolistic competitive firms, and we have the marginal revenue curve. And for profit or loss we need to draw the cost curve as well. So we need to draw the average total cost curve. अब भी याद रखें कि क्योंकि आपने नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट शो करना है, ज़ीरो प्रॉफिट शो करना है, तो दैट डिपेंड्स हाउ यू ड्रॉ द एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट कर्व. तो जैसा कि हमने पीछे बात की कि प्रॉफिट की सूरत हाल में जब आप प्रॉफिट शो करना चाहते हैं तो कोशिश करें कि जो एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट का मिनिमम पॉइंट है वो डिमांड या रेवेन्यू कर्व से नीचे हो, और इन केस ऑफ loss the minimum point of the average total cost curve must be above than the demand curve or the revenue curve. Similarly, in case when you want to show the normal or the zero profit of the firm, तो जो ATC है average total cost, that must be tangent to the revenue or demand curve. तो जैसा कि यहाँ अगर आपको नज़र आ रहा हो तो यहाँ हमने ड्रॉ करते हुए कोशिश की है the ATC must be tangent to the रेवेन्यू का. इट इज़ नॉट नेसेसरी दैट मिनिमम पॉइंट जो उसका है वो टेंजेंट हो, इट कुड बी टेंजेंट फ्रॉम एनी प्लेस, राइट. तो दिस इज़ हाउ यू कैन ड्रा द एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट कर्व. उसके बाद हमने जैसा कि हमें मालूम है कि प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन कंडीशन जो है फर्म्स की, दैट इज़ द पॉइंट वेयर MR इज इक्वल टू MC. तो वी नीड टू ड्रॉ द मार्जिनल कॉस्ट कर्व. तो हमने जब मार्जिनल कॉस्ट ड्रा किया तो दैट कर्व मस्ट पास थ्रू द मिनिमम पॉइंट ऑफ एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व, प्लीज़ कीप इन माइंड. और उसके बाद देखें कि ये मार्जिनल कॉस्ट कर्व जो है कहाँ पे इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है MR कर्व को, दैट इज़ ए पॉइंट. उसको हम कोई पॉइंट का नाम दे देते हैं, पॉइंट E, एंड दिस इज द पॉइंट वेयर द प्रॉफिट ऑफ द फर्म should be maximum, right? So as we know that the golden rule of profit maximization is where MR is equal to MC. तो इस पॉइंट से आप ऊपर नीचे जाते हैं, ऊपर जाके you can find the price of the product, you can find the cost of the firms, and नीचे जब आएंगे तो आपको quantity produced and sold मिल जाएगी मार्केट में. तो जब आप ऊपर जाते हैं इस पॉइंट से तो this line intersect the demand curve or the cost curve at point. You can name a point like A. This is a P, so now this is Q. Now you can find the profit of the firm. For profit we need to find TR minus TC. Now TR is equal to OQAP. ये जो पूरी rectangle, this is total revenue. Total cost is also the same because it is tangent to the revenue curve OQAP. So TR is equal to TC, and we can say that the firms are earning नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट सिंस टोटल रेवेन्यू इज इक्वल टू टोटल कॉस्ट. तो यहाँ पे आप सवाल कर सकते हैं कि जब फर्म्स का टोटल रेवेन्यू टोटल कॉस्ट के बराबर है तो व्हाई दे आर प्रोड्यूसिंग एंड सेलिंग द प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट. सो द आंसर इज दैट the firms want to retain themselves in the market, so they are hoping that after some time some of the firms will leave the industry and they will start earning profit, or they can produce more, they can supply more, and they can earn profit in the long run. So they want to remain in the business, so they are covering all of their variable cost, only the fixed cost is not covered in this case. So they want to remain in the business, they want to produce, so they are with the hope that in the long run they will start earning abnormal or profit for their firms. So this is how we can explain the zero economic profit or the normal profit situation in the long run under monopolistic competition. As we know that two characteristics which can differentiate, we can say there are two things which can differentiate this market structure from the other market structures. So as in monopoly, we know that price exceed marginal cost. So what will happen? Profit maximization requires that marginal revenue should be equal to marginal cost, and in this case all the firms face downward sloping demand curves, making marginal revenue less than price. So as in competitive market, price equals average revenue and total cost, so free and exit, so zero economic profits. So if we compare this monopolistic competition with the other market structure, that is monopoly and perfect competition, so in case of monopoly, as we know, price exceeds than the marginal cost, but in case of perfect competition, price is equal to marginal revenue and marginal cost. Similarly, in case of monopolistic competition, price is also greater than marginal cost, as we have seen in the monopolies. The firms faces downward sloping demand curve in case of both monopoly and monopolistic competition. The difference is that in case of monopoly there is only one firm, but in case of monopolistic competition there are many firms. So the difference is in the shape of the demand curve or the revenue curve. In a case of monopoly, the demand curve or the revenue curve is comparatively steeper since there is only one firm in the industry. But in case of monopolistic competition, the demand curve or the revenue curve is flatter because of the many firms in the industry. Now when we compare monopolistic competition with perfect competition, so there are two basically noteworthy differences between monopolistic competition and perfect competition. One, excess capacity, and the other is markup. So on the basis of these 2 points we can explain and the difference between monopolistic competition and perfect competition. Now first we explain how excess capacity can become a difference between these two market structure, that is perfect competition and monopolistic competition. So there is no excess capacity in case of perfect competition in the long run, right? But if we talk about so free entry results in competitive firm producing at a point where average total cost is minimized, which is efficient scale of the firm. So but in case of monopolistic competition, there is excess capacity in monopolistic competition in the long run, so output is less than the efficient scale of production. तो excess capacity की सूरत हाल में in case of perfect competition there is no excess capacity, all firms are producing at efficient point of production in the long run. But in case of monopolistic competition there is excess capacities because the firms has market power and they always produce less than the efficiency or less than the capacity, and this will become, or this because of this will create a loss to the society. So their output is less than the efficient scale of perfect competition. So we can say that in case of monopolistic competition there is excess capacity within the firms. That means the firms can produce more, but they are producing less and they are charging price greater than marginal cost, greater than marginal revenue, and they are getting more profit as compared to the perfect competitive firms, right? And they are producing less than their optimum level. So we can explain this situation and compare the two market structure, perfect competition and monopolistic competition, with the help of the diagram जो कि आपको नज़र आ रहे हैं। तो दो डायग्राम है, एक में हमने परफेक्ट कंपटीशन की बात की है विच इज़ बी, और दूसरा जो डायग्राम है जिसमें हम बात करें मोनोपोलिस्टिक कॉम्पिटिटिव फर्म की। एज वी नो दैट we have a downward sloping demand curve and marginal revenue curve in case of monopolistic competition. In order to show the normal profit in the long run, we need to draw the cost curve, average total cost curve, जो कि आपको नज़र आ रहा है। हमने कोशिश की है कि this should be tangent to the demand curve at some point। उसके बाद हमें we need to find out, we need to draw the profit maximization point, and that is the point where MR should be equal to MC। तो इसके लिए हमें मार्जिनल कॉस्ट कर्व ड्रा करना है। जब आप देखें, जब आपने मार्जिनल कॉस्ट कर्व ड्रा किया तो दिस इज इंटरसेक्टिंग MR एट सर्टेन पॉइंट, जिसको हम पॉइंट का नाम देते हैं, एंड दिस इज सपोज पॉइंट E is the profit maximizing point। इससे ऊपर जाएंगे तो you can find the price and cost or the revenue of the firm and you can find the profit of the firm। तो जैसा कि हमने जिक्र किया, जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया, since this is a perfect this is a long run, so all firms are earning normal profit or will be earning normal profit in the long run। So price of the firm is OP and quantity is OQ। so अगर इस पॉइंट को कोई आप नाम दे दें, let us say is we call it M, तो you can find, so this rectangle जो आपको नज़र आ रही है, this is the total revenue, और यही total cost होती है in case of long run। so TR is equal to TC, total cost, so the firms are earning normal। लेकिन जो चीज़ मैंने एक्सप्लेन करनी है आपको इस डायग्राम में, अगर आप देखें तो मार्जिनल कॉस्ट कर्व जो डिमांड कर्व को इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है, जो एवरेज कॉस्ट के जो मिनिमम पॉइंट को इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है, दैट इज ए पॉइंट, दैट इज, इसको अगर आप नाम कोई देते हैं, सो दिस कुड बी ए पॉइंट लाइक N। सो MC इज इंटरसेक्टिंग द मिनिमम पॉइंट ऑफ AC एट N। सो firm's efficient scale is the point N। so at this point the firm can produce much more than OQ, that they can produce OQ1 instead of OQ, right? But since this is a monopolistic competitive firm, so they have market power, they produce less than their efficient scale, right, and charge higher prices and earn profit, right? So this is how the firms with market powers can exploit the consumers, and because of producing less than their optimum level, less their efficient scale, and charging higher price and creating problems for the consumer। अगर आप दूसरे डायग्राम में देखें जिसमें हमने लॉन्ग रन प्रॉफिट शो करने की कोशिश की है इन केस ऑफ परफेक्ट कंपटीशन, सो एज वी नो दैट वी हैव ए हॉरिजॉन्टल रेवेन्यू कर्व और द डिमांड कर्व और द प्राइस कर्व, एंड वी हैव ATC, and the minimum point of ATC is tangent to the revenue curve, and then for profit maximization we need MC curve which is passing through the minimum point। अगर यहाँ पे अगर आप देखें in this diagram तो total revenue जो है is equal to total cost, point E पे जो total revenue total cost के बराबर है, so firms are earning normal profit। लेकिन अगर आप गौर करें तो firms are producing at efficient scale, right? Quantity is produced at efficient scale, so we can say that here consumers are in benefit in case of perfect competition, where the firms are producing at efficient scale and charging less price as compared to monopolistic competition। So this is how we can explain the difference between perfect competition and monopolistic competition by using the concept of excess capacity। तो हमने ये देखा कि monopolistic competitive firm के पास excess capacity है, they can produce more, they can supply more in the market, but they produce less than their efficient scale and charge higher prices, but in the long run। But in case of perfect competition, in the long run all firms are producing at efficient scale, right, and they are earning normal profit and they are charging less price from the consumer। So this is how we can explain the difference between a perfectly competitive market and monopolistic competitive market with the help of excess capacity concept। Second जो हमने बात की, the second जो point जो difference explain करता है between these two is the markup over marginal cost। As we know that for a perfectly competitive market, price equals marginal cost, right? But for a monopolistic competitive firm, price exceeds marginal cost. So this is the difference between these two. So the difference in markup, difference in price can explain the difference between these two market structure. So in case of monopolistic competition, price is greater than marginal cost, or in case of perfect competition or a perfectly competitive market, price is equal to marginal cost. So because price exceeds marginal cost here, in case of monopolistic competition, an extra unit sold at the posted price means more profit for the monopolistic competitive firm. So since price is greater than marginal cost, so any extra units sold at the posted price means the profit of the firm or monopolistic competitive firm will increase. They will earn more profit. So we can explain this situation. The difference in markup can become a difference of between these two market structure with the help of diagram. Again, the time period is in the long run. तो उसी तरह अगर आप देखें डायग्राम ए में हम मोनोपोलिस्टिक कॉम्पिटिटिव फर्म की बात कर रहे हैं, और बी में जो हम बात करें वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ए मोनोपोलिस्ट परफेक्टली कॉम्पिटिटिव फर्म. उसी तरह डिमांड कर्व आपके पास है, रेवेन्यू माइनर रेवेन्यू कर्व है, एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व है, माइनर कॉस्ट पास थ्रू कर रहा है टू दी मिनिमम पॉइंट ऑफ एटीसी, एंड दिस कर्व इज इंटरसेक्टिंग माइनर रेवेन्यू कर्व एट सम पॉइंट at point E, that is the maximized point, that is the marginal cost. अगर आप इस डायग्राम में देखें आपको नजर आ रहा है, इसके ऊपर जाएंगे तो आप प्राइस मालूम कर लेंगे. प्राइस जो है इस डायग्राम में that is OP. The marginal cost in this diagram is OC. So if you see the difference, so price is bigger than marginal cost. So the difference, the markup is PC, right? So this, in case of monopolistic competitive market, the firms charge more price than marginal cost, which is very clear from this diagram. अगर आप दूसरे डायग्राम में देखें in the right side diagram, जो कि डायग्राम B है, तो अगर आप देखें price is equal to marginal cost, right? So the second जो फैक्टर है जो कि डिफरेंस का बायस बन सकता है between perfectly competitive market and monopolistic competitive market is the markup or the price. Firms under monopolistic competition charge greater price than marginal cost, right? जैसा कि हमने इस डायग्राम में दिखाया आपको, और in case of perfect competition, price is equal to marginal cost in the long run. Now we see how monopolistic competition can, how we can relate this with the welfare of the society. So monopolistic competition does not have all the desirable properties of perfect competition. So there is a normal deadweight loss of monopoly pricing in monopolistic competition caused by the markup over marginal cost. So there is a deadweight loss to the society which is normal, and which, but एक चीज़ ध्यान में रखें कि मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में डेड वेट लॉस होता है सोसाइटी को, लेकिन दिस लॉस इज नॉर्मल एंड दिस लॉस इज लेस देन द मोनोपोली में जो डेड वेट लॉस होता है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे ओनली सिंगल फर्म होती है, एक फर्म होती है चीज़ को प्रोड्यूस करती है, सप्लाई करती है मार्केट में, राइट? तो इन दैट केस दैट फर्म इज प्रोड्यूसिंग लेस देन देयर एफिशिएंट स्केल ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, सो प्राइस बहुत ज़्यादा चार्ज करते हैं, तो उसमें डेड वेट लॉस ज़्यादा होता है. यहाँ पे भी होता है बट इट इज़ कंपैरेटिवली लेस एज कम्पेयर टू मोनोपोली. However, the administrative burden of regulating the price of the firm that produce differential product would be overwhelming. So another way in which monopolistic competition may be socially inefficient is that the number of firms in the market may not be ideal one. So this is another factor. आप ये नहीं कह सकते, you cannot clearly say that there are 10 firms, 50 firms. Sometimes this number is bigger, sometimes this number is smaller. So there is no ideal number in case of ideal number of firms in case of monopolistic competition. Now, what are the externalities that can exist in case of monopolistic competition? Now, there are two externalities that can affect the consumers and producers. One is the product variety externalities. So consumer has benefit in case of monopolistic competition because there is a lot of variety ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल टू देम, बहुत सारी चीज़ें अवेलेबल होती हैं. देयर इज़ फ्री एंट्री एंड एग्जिट, तो नई फर्म्स आती रहती हैं, दे स्टार्ट प्रोड्यूसिंग न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स. और जो एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स होती हैं, क्योंकि कंपटीशन होता है, तो दे आल्सो इनोवेट देयर प्रोडक्ट, नई उन प्रोडक्ट में इनोवेशन लाते हैं. The first externality is that consumers get some consumer surplus from the introduction of new products in the market with the entry of new firms in the industry. Second, business stealing externalities. Now this is from the producer side. तो जब नई firms आती हैं इंडस्ट्री में, they steal business of the existing firms, right? So they offer their products, so consumer divert their demand towards the new products. तो जो existing firms की डिमांड है, existing firms की product डिमांड है, वो कम हो जाती है. Because other firms lose customers and profit from the entry of new competitor. So entry of new firms imposes a negative externality on existing firms. तो दो externalities की बात की. एक हमने बात की product variety externalities, जिसमें हमने बात की कि it creates a positive impact, positive externality on consumer, कि कंज्यूमर के पास नई प्रोडक्ट्स मार्केट में आती हैं, डिफरेंशिएटेड प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में उनको मिलती हैं, तो जिसकी वजह से उनको फ़ायदा होता है, राइट. दूसरी जो हमने बात की बिजनेस स्टीलिंग एक्सटर्नलिटी की बात की, कि जब नई फर्म्स इंडस्ट्री में आती हैं इन केस ऑफ मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, तो क्या होता है, दे स्टील द मार्केट, और एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स की जो डिमांड है प्रोडक्ट की वो कम हो जाती है. जब कम होती है तो ऑफ कोर्स दे इंपोज नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नलिटी ऑन द एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म्स डिमांड ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. नाउ वी कैन सी हाउ एडवर्टाइजिंग, जब आप बात करते हैं कि द फर्म्स आर सेलिंग डिफरेंशिएटेड प्रोडक्ट्स एंड देयर इज स्ट्रॉन्ग कंपटीशन अमंग द फर्म्स, तो किस तरह जो फर्म्स हैं अपनी चीज़ों की डिमांड को बढ़ा सकते हैं, हाउ दे कैन सेल मोर, हाउ दे कैन अर्न मोर प्रॉफिट. सो एडवर्टाइजिंग इज़ वन ऑफ द टूल दे कैन यूज़, different firms can use to sell more of their products and to earn more profit. So when firms sell differentiated products and charge prices above than marginal cost, so each firm has incentive to advertise in order to attract more customers, right? जब हम कहते हैं कि फर्म्स जो है इन केस ऑफ मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन प्राइस जो है मार्जिनल कॉस्ट से ज़्यादा फिक्स करते हैं, तो उनमें कंपटीशन होता है, तो हर फर्म ये कोशिश करती है दे ट्राई टू एडवर्टाइज their products in the newspaper, in television, in order to attract more customers for their particular product. So firms that's highly differentiated consumer goods typically spend more between 10 and 20% of revenue on advertising. Overall, about 2% of the total revenue, or over 200 billion a year, is spent on advertising. So almost it is between 10 to 20% of the total spending, total budget they spend on advertising in order to attract more customers, to sell more of their product, to get more revenue, more profit. Now of course there is criticism on advertising or spending on advertising. Now critic of advertising says that firms advertise in order to manipulate people taste. So they advertise just to they manipulate the consumer, they want to manipulate the taste, right? They want to attract, they want to divert the consumer from other products to their products. They also argues, the critic also argue that it impedes competition by implying that products are more different than truly they are. So एक किस्म का एक आपको इससे अंदाज़ा होता है कि प्रोडक्ट इतनी सिमिलर नहीं है, so there is lot of difference among the products. So the defenders of this criticism argue that advertising provides information to the consumer, so they can know about the type of the product, what is the quality of the product, the shape of the product, the taste of the product. So they also argue that advertising increase the competition by offering a greater variety of products and prices. So the willingness of a firm spend on advertising dollars can be a signal to consumers about the quality of the product being offered in the market. So advertising can play a role in case of monopolistic competition, जैसा कि हमने डिस्कस किया कि जब मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में देयर आर लार्ज नंबर ऑफ फर्म्स, देयर आर मैनी फर्म्स, दे आर सेलिंग प्रोडक्ट्स, डिफरेंशिएटेड प्रोडक्ट्स इन द मार्केट, तो बहुत सारा कंपटीशन होता है मार्केट में, तो किस तरह फर्म्स कोशिश कर सकती हैं कि अपनी प्रोडक्ट्स को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बेच सके। तो देयर इज़ ए टूल विच दे कैन यूज़ विच इज़ एडवर्टाइजिंग। दे कैन एडवर्टाइज देयर प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट, इन द न्यूज़पेपर्स, टेलीविजन्स। दे कैन यूज़ डिफरेंट वेज एंड मीन्स ऑफ एडवर्टाइजिंग। They can spend a lot of money on advertising and to introduce their products in the market, and in that case they can sell and they can generate competition between the products. लेकिन क्रिटिक्स ये कहते हैं कि एडवर्टाइजिंग जब आप करते हैं तो इससे क्या होता है कि द फर्म्स आर प्लेइंग विद द टेस्ट of the consumers, and it also actually tells us that the product is very much different from the existing products. But however, advertising is one of the important tool which can be used by the firm, जो firm इस्तेमाल कर सकती हैं for selling more of their product in the market. Advertising also tells us information about the quality of the product. It also give incentive to the firms to maintain high quality, right? So firms can maintain high quality as well. Now brand names can also be a important tool to sell differentiated product in the market. Economists have argued that brands names may be useful way for consumers to ensure that the goods they are buying are of high quality, right? So brand, आपने देखा होगा कि sometime people go for brand, right? Whatever is the quality of the product, अगर brand prominent है, बहुत मशहूर है, it's known to the people, it's long time in the market, so people buy a product of that particular brand. So it provides information about the quality of the product, and it gives incentive to the firms to sell high quality product in the market. So this is the last part of the lecture today's. अभी अगले कोई चंद मिनट में I will try to summarize what we have learned today. तो आज हमने बात की मोनोपोलिस्टिक कॉम्पिटिटिव फर्म की, and which is characterized by three attributes. Number one, and there are many firms in the industry, they are selling differentiated products in the market, and the last characteristic or the attribute was that there is free entry and exit. उसके बाद हमने बात की कि इनके we have talked about the equilibrium of the monopolistic competitive firm in the short run एंड इन द लॉन्ग रन. हमने ये कहा कि शॉर्ट रन में पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है कि कुछ फर्म्स को प्रॉफिट हो रहा हो और कुछ को नुकसान हो रहा हो. तो हमने ये एक्सप्लेन किया कि जब फर्म को प्रॉफिट हो रहा होता है तो क्या सूरत हाल होती है. देयर इज़ इंसेंटिव फॉर द न्यू फर्म्स टू एंटर द इंडस्ट्री. तो नई फर्म जो है इंडस्ट्री में दाखिल हो जाती हैं. जब नई फर्म एंटर होती है तो क्या होता है, दे ऑफर देयर प्रोडक्ट्स, सो द डिमांड ऑफ देयर प्रोडक्ट्स विल इंक्रीज and the demand of the products by the existing firms will go down. So the profit margin जो है वो distribute हो जाता है between the existing firms and the new firms. So what will happen in the long run? In the long run firms start earning normal or zero economic profit. तो जब हमने नुकसान की बात की तो sometime some firms are earning loss in the short run in the monopolistic competitive firms competition. तो जब लॉस होता है तो क्या सूरत हाल होती है, इसको भी हमने एक्सप्लेन किया डायग्राम से. जब लॉस होगा तो सम ऑफ द फर्म विल एग्जिट फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री इन द लॉन्ग रन. So the demand of the existing firm will increase. They will sell more, they will earn more, and they will start earning normal profit in the long run. तो दो सूरत हाल एक्सप्लेन की हमने शॉर्ट रन में, एक लॉस की बात की और दूसरा हमने प्रॉफिट की बात की. उसके बाद हमने बात की लॉन्ग रन में, all firms are earning normal profit in the long run. Since there is free entry and exit, तो शॉर्ट रन में जब प्रॉफिट होता है तो नई फर्म्स आ जाती हैं, जब लॉस होता है तो एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म जो है छोड़ जाती हैं बिजनेस को, तो लॉन्ग रन में फर्म्स नॉमिनल प्रॉफिट कमाना शुरू कर देती हैं। मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन डज नॉट हैव ऑल ऑफ द डिजायरेबल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ परफेक्ट कंपटीशन। तो हमने कंपेयर किया मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन को विद द परफेक्ट कंपटीशन, और हमने डिफरेंस को एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की इन टर्म्स ऑफ टू फैक्टर्स। वन, एक्सेस कैपेसिटी की हमने बात की, और दूसरी हमने मार्कअप की बात की। हमने ये कहा कि in case of monopolistic competition there is excess capacity within the firm to produce more or to produce at efficient level of production. In case of monopolistic competitions, firms produce less than their efficient scale and they charge higher price than marginal cost and they get more profit. But if you look at in case of the perfect competition, all firms are producing at efficient scale. Right, so this is one of the difference. Excess capacity होती है in case of monopolistic competition and there is no excess capacity in case of perfect competition in the long run. तो इसका इफेक्ट क्या होता है जब excess capacity होती है in case of monopolistic competition? तो there is deadweight loss to the society, क्योंकि firm जो है produce less कर रही होती हैं than efficient scale और price ज़्यादा charge करती हैं. Deadweight loss है but it is normal and less than monopoly. जो दूसरा हमने पॉइंट बात की, वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट द मार्कअप, प्राइस इज ग्रेटर देन मार्जिनल कॉस्ट इन केस ऑफ मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, एंड वी हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस विद द हेल्प ऑफ ए डायग्राम, बट इन केस ऑफ परफेक्ट कंपटीशन प्राइस इज इक्वल टू मार्जिनल कॉस्ट. Number of firms can be, so we cannot say in case of monopolistic competition very clearly. Sometimes there are number of firms, very large number of firms could be there in the market, in the industry, sometimes small. So the product differentiation in monopolistic competition lead to use of advertising and brand. So since the products are different in case of monopolistic competition, there is a competition, there are large number of firms in the industry. तो क्या कर सकती हैं firms? They can take the use of advertising and brand names to sell more, to earn more from their product. So critics ये कहते हैं कि जो फर्म्स हैं एडवर्टाइजिंग यूज़ करती हैं और ब्रांड नेम यूज़ करते हैं टू टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ कंज्यूमर irrationally and to reduce the competition, but in fact brands play a very important role, and this case good brand, in case of good brand you can sell more, you can earn more. Similarly, if you spend more on advertising, if you spend more money, more budget, more of your budget on advertising, so you can sell more of your product, you can get more revenue and you can get more profit. So this is all about today's lecture. We end up with our lecture here today. See you next time. Till next time, Allah Hafiz.